Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. I want to do a video to request prayer, serious prayer, and help, if possible, for a friend. Okay. Last video I did, one of the last videos I did, I talked about women and the war on the family, the war on women, the war on women who are healers. I called Yalad, begetters that can help other women, and that there's a war specifically against that facet of the human race, the human species, people, whatever, us people, us humans. Okay. And I said that I want to address the female of the species being more deadly than the male. That a lot of women are going to be leaders, have deadly leaders, but they're more deadly because the poem from Rudyard Kipling, the female of the species is more deadly than the male. That's what that's named after, the female of the species. And I got a book entitled The Female of the Species. I got it right here. It's a novel, but I just got it just for the heck of it. By Minnie McGinnis. I'm not recommending it because I haven't read it yet even. It's about some vigilante type of situation. I'm not going to enjoy reading it, I don't think. But the idea being that if you mess with a woman, especially her children, you're going to pay a high price possibly. And I gave the example of Boadicea and the Celtic queen in Britain. When Rome invaded Britain, the Roman army happened to rape Boadicia's two daughters. Big mistake for them. That cost them about 200,000 lives. Two rapes, 200,000 deaths. Not a cheap price to pay for stupidity and evil. Anyway, now so it comes to find out that a friend of mine who's been a really dear friend. I haven't met her yet. A lot of women are like that. Haven't met them, haven't ever seen them face to face, but I've had contact with a lot of women who are leaders. Some of them are wealthy, some of them are not. This woman is not wealthy. Could have been, but, harkens back to the early movement way back when. I think she said she was related to... can't remember his name. He ran for president of the United States. Has a lineage, let's put it that way. Family history. But anyway, my point is that she's been a very dear friend, a very good counsel for my health. Has given me a lot of really good advice. I think has been instrumental in helping keep me alive. And she's in dire straits right now. She has been in a very bad situation for 8 years. Her and her husband were picked up by some woman who had married a guy, supposedly married a man, who owned a bunch of property. And the man was a treasure. He was like a national treasure. He's a wonderful man. His name's Joe. Please pray for him. And as I'm telling you this story, just pray for them. And God is not bound by space or time. So if you hear this video 10 years from now, stop and pray for these people by name. Deb, her husband Steve, this man Joe, who this woman, what's her name, Vicky, supposedly married Joe, took over the whole property. Joe owned this land, and he was a wonderful man. He never wanted to leave the house without $2,000 cash in his pocket so he could give it away. He could give it to people. He said, "I've been so blessed, I want to pay it forward." That was his goal in life, was to... It's hard to tell this story because it's so touching. But he didn't want to ever leave the house without $2,000 cash in his pocket, because if he saw somebody that needed gas, he'd fill their tank with gas. He'd buy their groceries for them. He'd give them money to do whatever they needed to do. If you saw somebody in need, he wanted to give them money, a couple $100 or whatever. And that's the way he was. He lived like that. He wanted to bless other people, wanted to help other people. Well, suppose this woman took over his life, basically is holding him prisoner, holding these friends of mine, Deb and Steve, prisoner, blockaded them in. They got an RV in there. They took an RV in there, blockaded it in, has not been able to move the RV for 8 years. Has to go out every week to get propane and water, and it's very trying on her. She's 70 years old. Okay, Deb is 70 years old. Remember that. She's an older lady, elderly. Her husband Steve is blind, and he's got a lot of physical problems. He's got an open sore in his leg. He's got diabetes, bad circulation, and she's been keeping him alive, just nursemaiding him every day, watching his wounds. I mean, just open sores. I just can't imagine what they've been through. Winter is very hard on them. So I've been encouraging her to get out of there, and she knows she needs to get out, but now it's to the point where she can't. This last week when she went to get propane and water, she hurt her hip or thigh or back, whatever. I don't know. She's just so in such excruciating pain she can't even move. And it takes like an act of Congress and a wrestling a bear. She put it to get the gate open to get out of there. And if they leave it open, they'll be in really big trouble with the dictator that controls the place. So, my point is that they're in really dire straits. They have no food. They're running out of food very rapidly. They don't have hardly anything to eat. Nobody will come get them, do anything for them. Nobody will help them, and nobody believes in their story. So I do, because I've been with her from the start. For not the whole start, but for about 2 years we've been very, very close touch. So, so this thing about war on women, that's definitely her. I was hoping that she would get out here and help me, because she's I consider her a national treasure. Information about health and well-being and different things. I've told her the same thing I've said to other people. A friend of mine, I told him, I said, hey, listen, if you show up here with nothing but the shirt on your back. This man was a mechanic. He was a farmer, gardener, beekeeper, cut firewood, baled hay. I said, if you show up here with nothing but the shirt on your back, you're worth $1 million to me. And by money, when I talk about money, amount of money, that to me is just, what is the value of people, human lives? Because I said this in my book, and I'll say it a million times. R. Buckminster Fuller made the statement. He said, we now know what true wealth is. True wealth is the ability to regenerate forward life. In other words, how many people can you keep alive for how many days? Okay. How many people can you keep alive for how many days? And I'm talking to you, Linda, or anybody else that listens to me that has money to waste and burn on garbage and trash and idiotic things. If you're not able to keep anybody alive for how many days, you're a pauper, you're a beggar. You're in the kingdom of God. You're a nothing. You're a nobody. You're less than that. Your lifestyle is rich and nameless. The rich man and Lazarus. Read that story again. The rich man had no name. Lazarus had a name, because Lazarus is known by Jesus. Lazarus is known in the kingdom of heaven. The rich man is not. He has no name in that parable and never will have a name. He's a nameless nobody. The lifestyles of the rich and nameless. The song by Apologetics. They're a Christian parody band who they do parodies, so obviously. But lifestyles of the rich and famous. Well, this is lifestyles of the rich and nameless. Listen to that song. It's a very good song. It's about the rich man and Lazarus. So, okay, so I'm asking for prayer for Deb and Steve and Joe. I'd like to get Joe out of there too, but Joe's probably pushing 80 years old, and he's been basically held prisoner in the house. Hasn't been able to get out. He supposedly has a big safe in the house with gold and silver in it and ammunition and stuff, but this woman has taken over his life and taken over everybody's life. She gave Deb and Steve an eviction notice, but blockaded the RV, and they cannot get the RV out, period, end of story. And she gave them an eviction notice to get out of here, but you can't take your RV. You can't take your home with you. Leave your home. You be homeless, go and get out on the street. Just wanted to get out of there. So very difficult situation. And now they're down to where they have no food, and Deb cannot physically get out of the compound. Now she can't get out of it's a compound, no question. It's a ex-cons, they're meth addicts, meth dealers. It's just a horrific situation. Has been the entire time. They've been health since they've gotten there. Been very difficult on them. So anyway, and Joe, the guy that actually owns the property, told him early on. He said, "You are welcome to stay here as long as you live, until the day you die. You're welcome to stay here, free of rent, free, just free." He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need. Neither does this Vicky lady, but she's a greedy, evil person. So pray against her. Pray imprecatory psalms against her and her ex-con cohorts, or murder killers and drug addicts and drug dealers and drug cookers, meth cookers, or whatever they're doing. So, construction site nearby had like $30,000 worth of tools stolen, and she knows who did it. She videoed them. That's who's doing it. So anyway, very difficult situation. Please pray for them. I'm asking for prayer for sure. If you have any ideas, any way to get help, to get it word to like Dave Sparks, Diesel Brothers, Diesel Brothers, yeah, Dave Sparks and Diesel Dave, his buddy, his friend. They rescue people all the time. They put together a convoy and went to San Bernardino, California to rescue a bunch of elderly people snowed in a massive snowstorm, like a 100-year snowstorm, or at least it was bad. That it was last year that they did that. They spent I don't know how many months. They had one of the bills at the gas station was like $1,400 for fuel. And so anyway, he's done a lot of. David Sparks has done a lot of good things for people, rescue people. Kidnapping from into Mexico, he flew his Black Hawk chopper in there to rescue this little girl. It was the daughter of one of his employees. And then what was the other one? A pilot crashed on a mountain in Oregon, and the family was told they needed to get the wreckage out of there. They needed to remove the wreckage. Well, it's $50,000 to get the wreckage out. The wife couldn't do anything because she had no money. All the money was tied up in the husband, and they had to certify that he was dead. His body was rotting up on the mountain in Oregon. They could not get up there to get him out. They couldn't prove that he was dead, so had to have a coroner report or something like that. Anyway, she had no money. Dave Sparks, at his own expense, flew in, recovered the body, and did it as humanely and gently as possible. Got all of his remains, the belongings, and they bundled up the whole chopper in netting, cargo netting, and had it choppered out. They did the whole thing, all that at their own expense. Just the chopper retrieval, the plane wreckage retrieval was going to be $50,000. They probably spent $100,000 doing that. I don't know how much it was, but it was a lot. Did it free of charge to the woman just to help her out because she was a widow. So I'm just asking for help, not for me, but for someone else. I'm getting pretty depressed because what I saw in my vision 23 years ago, I felt and saw heaven. And it's so beautiful. The sense of love was so overpowering. I couldn't talk for like an hour and a half. I just cried. I just wept at the beauty of it, the beauty of the feeling I felt of a home being built for someone that never knew him. And I almost given up hope of that ever seeing anything like that ever happening. Feeling that love again on earth. So, I don't know. Please pray for me and pray for Deb. More than me, pray for Deb. But I was hoping her to get here and be a big help to me because she's such a treasure of health information and knowledge in a lot of areas, financial, everything. But please, please, please be in prayer. That's all I'm asking. And if anybody can get word to Diesel Dave, Dave Sparks, Sparks Brothers, Sparks Motors, Sparks Brothers, Diesel Brothers, Dave Sparks, Sparks Motors, Diesel Dave. Any of those four. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. I'm gonna post a comment on his thing and give out Deb's email address, which is Timbuk2. I'll post it under here. Timbuk2 at Gmail. No, at Timbuk or Zimbabwe. I'll post it. I forget it right now. I'm sorry. DuckDuckGo. Yeah, DuckDuck is DuckDuckGo. Duck email. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I'll post that. Sorry for all the stuttering and stupidity. But please help out. Prayer. Got a new homestead going up, 5-acre homestead, step-by-step homestead. Look that up. I'll try to post a link for that. I'll try to find it, but it's the homestead. I was hoping to have it called the well where we drew water because there's a well there, a really hand-dug well, ancient hand-dug well, antique hand-dug well, beautiful thing. Anyway, that's it for today. Please pray for Deb, pray for Steve, pray for Joe, and pray against Vicky and Jim and her ex-convict cohorts, her flying monkeys, as they say in the narcissistic world. She's the Wicked Witch of the West, and her flying monkeys are Jim and some other guy. So please pray for the good people and pray against the bad people. May they be taken out of the scene, taken out of this world. So, all right. Yeah, bless everybody. Thank you. All right. God bless. Bye-bye. Sorry. This is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant, okay? If you're listening to this, you're the remnant. Thank you. God bless.